Sarah had always believed in building memories through traditions. Every year, she planned something special for her wedding anniversary with Daniel. For their 10th anniversary, she wanted it to be unforgettable, a surprise dinner with their daughter Emma, who was finally old enough to understand what love and commitment truly meant. She spent days planning the meal. Sarah ordered Daniel's favorite wine, bought the same kind of flowers she held in her wedding bouquet, and even found the playlist they used at their reception a decade earlier. She wanted Emma to see what lasting love looked like, a husband and wife who weathered storms but always came back to each other. That Friday, she told Daniel she'd be working late. Instead, she decorated the dining room with candles, framed photos from their wedding, and little handwritten notes placed under the plates, each with a memory from their years together. She wanted him to feel like the luckiest man alive. When Daniel walked in, Sarah could see his surprise. "What's all this?" he asked, dropping his briefcase, smiling in disbelief. Emma ran over, hugging him, excited to reveal the surprise. The dinner began beautifully. Laughter, old stories, music playing softly in the background. Daniel seemed touched, even emotional, raising his glass to toast to 10 more years. Sarah's heart swelled. This was the moment she dreamed of. But then Emma's phone buzzed on the table. Sarah almost ignored it, but the screen lit up, and for just a second, Sarah saw something odd, the sender's name. Daniel. Confused, she glanced closer. The preview of the message made her blood run cold. "I can't wait to see you again tonight." She suspects nothing. The air left Sarah's lungs. She grabbed Emma's phone. Emma panicked. "Mom, what are you doing?" But Sarah's hands were already shaking as she read the message aloud. The candles flickered, plates of food turned to stone in front of them, and Emma stared at her father, horrified. Daniel stammered. "It's not what it looks like," but the words fell flat. His daughter's phone, synced with the family account, had exposed everything. Sarah stood, her chair screeching across the floor. "Tonight," she shouted, "on our anniversary." Emma burst into tears, not fully grasping everything, but knowing enough to understand her father had betrayed them. Daniel begged for calm. "Please, Sarah, listen. It was a mistake. It doesn't mean anything." But the words meant everything. They meant Sarah's years of sacrifice, her patience through his late nights, the time she covered for him, were all thrown away for a cheap secret. Sarah knocked over her wine glass. Red liquid spilled like blood across the white tablecloth. Emma sobbed louder. The perfect dinner was dead. Daniel tried to explain. He blamed work stress, loneliness, confusion. But the more he spoke, the smaller he looked in Sarah's eyes. That night didn't end with cake and laughter. It ended with suitcases dragged to the door, Daniel begging while Sarah's silence cut deeper than screams. Emma sat curled on the couch, broken. For her, the lesson was brutal but unforgettable. Sometimes betrayal doesn't come from enemies, but from the people you believe are your forever. Days later, Sarah found the courage to share her story with friends. They called her brave. But Sarah didn't feel brave. She felt empty, rebuilding from ashes. Daniel tried calling, texting, apologizing, but every buzz of her phone now felt like a ghost of the message that ruined it all. Part 2, the morning after. Sarah didn't sleep. She lay awake, replaying every late night, every unexplained absence, every cold look Daniel had given her over the years. They all made sense now. At sunrise, she walked into the kitchen to find Emma sitting silently at the table, staring at her cereal. "Mom, is he coming back?" Sarah sat beside her. "I don't know, sweetheart. But listen to me, whatever happens, we'll be okay. You and me." Emma's lip trembled. Why would he do this to us? Weren't we enough? Sarah pulled her daughter into her arms. "We are enough. His choices don't change that." But inside, Sarah was breaking. She had spent 10 years proving she was enough. And now she knew. She had been building a family with someone who was secretly tearing it apart. Her phone buzzed constantly that day. Dozens of missed calls and messages. "Please answer. We can fix this. Don't ruin our family." Sarah deleted them all without reading further. Part 3, the confession. 3 days later, Daniel came back. He stood at the door with flowers, looking pathetic, desperate. Against her better judgment, Sarah let him in. "Please, just let me explain," he begged. They sat in the living room, Emma listening quietly from the stairs. Daniel confessed. It started at work. Late nights, deadlines. I felt invisible, Sarah. I didn't plan it. She listened. Sarah's jaw clenched. You can't even say her name. Daniel's eyes dropped to the floor. It doesn't matter. It's over. I ended it. Sarah laughed bitterly. You ended it. Right before our anniversary dinner. How convenient. Emma gasped softly from the staircase. Her father's lies crumbled in her mind. Daniel reached for Sarah's hand, but she pulled back like his touch was poison. You destroyed us, she whispered. And you destroyed her too. She nodded toward Emma. Daniel turned, seeing his daughter's tear-streaked face. For once, he had no words. Part 4, The Breakdown. That week, Emma changed. The cheerful, outgoing girl who used to sing while brushing her teeth now barely spoke. She ate little, slept less, and one night, Sarah found her curled up in bed, clutching an old family photo. Why, Mom? Why did he do it? Didn't he love us? Sarah's throat burned as she fought back tears. He does love us, sweetheart. But sometimes people are selfish. Sometimes love isn't enough to stop them from making terrible choices. Emma cried harder. I don't want to see him again. Sarah held her tight. In that moment, she knew, protecting her daughter mattered more than saving a broken marriage. Part 5, The Turning Point. A week later, Sarah called a lawyer. Divorce papers. She didn't tell Daniel right away. She wanted the papers to speak louder than any argument. When he was served, his shock turned into rage. You're really going to do this. You're going to tear this family apart. He shouted. Sarah stood tall. I'm not tearing anything apart. You did that. The night you sent that message. Daniel punched the wall, his face red with anger. But Sarah didn't flinch. For the first time in years, she wasn't afraid of him. Part 6, months later. Time passed. Slowly, painfully, but it passed. Sarah started therapy, both for herself and Emma. She took cooking classes, began running in the mornings, rediscovered hobbies she had abandoned years ago. Emma started healing too. Therapy helped her express her anger. She joined a school club, made new friends, and little by little, her smile returned. One day, while cleaning the attic, Sarah found the playlist she had made for that anniversary dinner. For a second, her throat tightened. But then she smiled. Not because she missed Daniel, but because she realized she had survived him. Part 7, The Final Lesson. Months later, Daniel tried again. He begged for another chance, claiming he had changed. But Sarah looked him in the eye and said firmly, Daniel, the man I loved died the night you sent that message. I don't mourn you anymore. I thank you, because losing you showed me my strength. Emma stood by her mother's side, proud. She had seen heartbreak, betrayal, and lies, but she had also seen resilience. The anniversary dinner hadn't destroyed Sarah. It had rebuilt her.